pleasure of personally interviewing once candidates, now recipients. And I tell you, these two, I won't be able to cover everything, and I am going to look at my notes, so because I don't want to miss anything. But I just want to have the opportunity to tell you a little bit about Paul M. Hutcherson, because they had desire and excitement in their interviews where they wanted to know the history of who this person was. And that kind of made me like, you know what? I want to address that with you guys. I know we're talking about the award and what it means, so I just wanted to give you a little background information. He was known as Professor Hutch. He graduated North Georgia in 1926. He was an associate professor of business science and very popular among the students. He was a strict disciplinarian, best known as even-hand justice with a bit of humor. He served as a colonel in the Army Reserves, and he served in World War II. Less than 10 years of graduating, he became the professor of commerce and commandant of cadets. He married the new librarian, Martha Orr, and they lived in the band house. He retired in 1946, and then NGC Alumni honored him by establishing this Outstanding Student Award. So as you see in here, the Scholarship Award reflects a high degree of credit and gives the highest ideals of citizenship. He was known for his true justice and personification of honor, which these two candidates truly are. Our first recipient, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Derek Whitmore. Just an outstanding leader with the highest maturity. I had the honor of just sitting with him for 30 minutes, and that went like that. So, 4-year National ROT Scholarship he had. He was a senior graduating in May, 4.0, noteworthy achievement. I mean, I didn't really have that. Leadership is truly defined by this gentleman. His mentorship from his PMS and Commandant staff, which I think is amazing, has defined his direction and purpose. That is clearly what you see when you're with him in a room. He has enjoyed the mentorship that he has provided to cadets as well. He watches cadets grow as leaders, and he finds that as a rewarding feeling. He has some of the most highest achievement military performances as well. So forgive me for looking because I don't want to forget things, you know. Distinguished Military Graduate, 2021. First Choice Branch Selection, Infantry Active. Major Kevin Jeanneret Scholarship, 2019. Whoop. Commander of Scabbard and Blade. Top per 10% U.S. Army Cadet Command. National Order of Merit. Ranked 1 out of 103 senior cadets in our program. Top leader with UNG Ranger Challenge Team. First Sergeant to Brigade Commander Sergeant Major, and is serving as Deputy Brigade Commander for the pre-camp operations. Derek will commission in May, active infantry. I know this all too well, this line of work right here. Infantry basic course, then the airborne, then the Ranger School. Well, then my husband said, you have to bark out the word HUA. But I'm going to leave that to Keith Antonio wherever he is, because he does it so much better. So HUA. Congrats to you, Derek. I mean, it is such an honor to have met you, spent time with you, served our Kevin Jeanneret Scholarship well, and you will be a light in becoming a great leader. And now our next recipient is Cadet Major Allison Gaynor. She is an impressive young lady as well. She personally is known more for being loyal and just strong moral values. I tell you, I learned so much from these two. I went home talking to my husband so much about you two after our interviews. It was such a pleasure. And this is why I enjoy volunteering and being a part of our alumni. She also received 4-year National ROT Scholarship. Senior Marketing Military Leadership is her minor. She also is the President Dean List multiple times. She also is involved in many activities and communities. She is a resident assistant of the Corps of Cadets of 2 years. She gives back volunteering time to work in the cadet missions as cadet ambassador for Mike Ivy. Can't beat that. He's a great boss. Aggressor platoon, third female to attain. Whoop. SGA, speech debate team, Delta Zeta sorority, member association of the cadet chaplains, female mentorship program with the Corps of Cadets. She is a member of the University Discipline Committee, Foxtrot First Sergeant to Brigade Operation Officers. Numerous military awards, distinguished military student, top 1/3 of cadets of the university, honor grad of NCOA course, Major Kevin General Scholarship 2020. I tell you, it just goes on and on. 2018 leaving a legacy leadership L3 summit. This was impressive to me. Was a student to complete her project and earn her leadership in a medallion with the allotted time. And all of our universities in the state were included, and you were the one student that completed that. Great job. Represented UNG and Corps of Cadets at an international conference in the Republic of Georgia, I believe that was. Just very impressive. Allison states that UNG has brought her much confidence. I remember this in the interview, how you decided that you have learned the most how to lead from a distance. Impressive. Congratulations. I know you will commission in May as well, active duty quartermaster branch, and then transition to your first assignment at Joint Base Lewis McChord. So congratulations, Alice. I thank you for being a symbol of honor and leading. Okay.
Our next award is the Dot Strother Scholarship. The Dot Strother Scholarship is awarded to a dependent of a current University of North Georgia Alumni Association member who has demonstrated citizenship and leadership potential and is pursuing a degree from UNG. Again, introducing this year's winners, Jennifer Spivey from the class of 93.
I'm back. All right, so now I'm the lucky one that gets to introduce two more wonderful, outstanding students, and soon to hope to be alumni, for the Dot Strother Scholarship. Again, a little history of Dot Strother, which shows the representation of these two amazing women. Dot Strother attended North Georgia 1938 to 1940. She served on the Alumni Council in many positions in the 80s. And she was the president of the Alumni Council in 1987 to 1988. In 1991, she was Distinguished Alumni Award recipient. I do believe the first given Dot Strother Award was in 2008, and it just demonstrates citizenship and leadership potential. Basically, serve others. Known for her beauty that shines from the inside and out, the glow that comes only in the happiness of serving others. She retired after serving deputy clerk. She was 23 years of service, and after that, she had a successful antique business, numerous community services. She was a true leader for her community. Now, our first recipient, Sherelle Canty. I was very impressed when I was able to read through her words. It's hard to put in a few minutes, though, but I tried. She has 3 semesters left to graduate. You hang in there, you got this. She represents a never give up attitude. You guys didn't get to read the part she submitted for the award. It's very touching. Working on her education for 20 years. I went back to school in my 30s. I graduated here in the 90s and went back in my 30s. It's hard work. You know, it's life-changing experience events that direct you, and hers brought her back to Georgia in January 2020 from Los Angeles. She is completing her degree in fall of 2021, Bachelor of Science in Interdisciplinary Studies with concentrations in Health and Human Services and Science. Then on to applying to Morehouse School of Medicine in fall of 2022. Wonderful. Taking a full course load at UNG and even achieving a 4.0 in the spring, which means President's List. She spends her free time participating on a research team with Sociology Department. Chanel Canty, you impress me and many others with the drive to finish so you can serve others. You stated that you finally can see the lights flickering to finish. That is your glow. You will show your happiness to serve others. A quote that I was really impressed that used to describe her, which I think describes a lot of us. Greatness is not measured by what a man or a woman accomplishes, but by the opposition he or she has to overcome to reach their goals. Great job, Chanel Canty. Oh. Now, our next recipient is Caroline Jones. Now, I've known her since, well, I guess since she's come into the world. Now she's just grown up. This is a recipient that I tell you, she shines every day as well. She was a recipient of the competitive presidential waiver for the out-of-state tuition. She has come here from Virginia. She, as a freshman, has excelled academically, earning her way to a 4.0 GPA, yes, the President's List, meaning hitting 60 hours. So technically I don't know if we're calling you a junior at the end of your first year. Very impressive, I tell you. She is a biology major, devoting her time to conduct ecological research with her biology professor. Often called to tutor other biology and chemistry students, a leader serving indeed. As a legacy, Caroline has the excitement and dedication to carry on the pride she has witnessed from her parents, who both were very involved with NGC in the 90s, as well as today with UNG. Tom, Bo, and Robin Jones. They're here tonight with her. Paul Hutchison, 1996, Miss Robin. Sorry, threw that in. Caroline continues to aim high and stay involved by serving others. It's her passion. Joined many clubs on campus, student athlete track and field, Holcomb mentorship program, fellowship of Christian athletes, and plans to lend her voice to the student activity board. The light will continue to shine with her glow as she plans to attend medical school and pursue her own military service as a healthcare provider. She's particularly interested in women's issues and ensuring women have access to adequate health care. She loves carrying on her UNG traditions and sharing the legacy with her family, but only by charting her own path with her own experiences. Great job, Caroline. A beautiful leader you're becoming and serving others. Your beauty shines inside and out.
Thank you, Jennifer. I officially feel old since I was in school with Robin and Tombo. And Tombo, it's a good thing Caroline takes after Robin. Our next award is the Distinguished Young Alumni Award. Candidates for the Distinguished Young Alumni Award have an extraordinary record of service and support to the University of North Georgia. To present this year's award is Miss Jordan Rowland, class of 2011. Jordan.
Hello, my name is Jordan Rowland, and I'm a 2011 graduate of the University of North Georgia, and I have the pleasure of serving as the current president of the Young Alumni Board. Tonight, I have the honor of presenting the 2021 University of North Georgia Distinguished Young Alumni Award to Jacob Elliott. Jacob is not only a graduate of the University of North Georgia, he is also currently a computer science professor and software developer for the university, as well as a faculty advisor for the Corps of Cadets Cybersecurity Cyber Unit Club on the Dahlonega campus, while also participating in the CodeHawks Programming Club and the CyberHawks Cybersecurity Club. I do not know how you do all that. Jacob has accomplished many noteworthy achievements. I would like to highlight a few of those tonight. He developed a custom system for the Department of Student Disability Services at UNG, which allows students to volunteer to provide note-taking services for students with disabilities in their classes. The system allows students to anonymously and securely find a student in need to provide notes without any breach of privacy. To date, 3,200 courses have used these note-taking services, and their peers have provided over 54,000 individual note files to students with disabilities. And I feel confident those numbers have risen since I received the stats. Jacob has developed a web-based appointment scheduling system for use by the advising department at UNG. This system allows students to quickly and easily make appointments with their advisor online, and it replaced a third-party product for this service. To date, students have made over 130,000 appointments with professional and faculty advisors across 4 campuses using the new online system that Jacob developed. In the summer of 2019, this system was expanded for use in 9 other departments and developed into a multi-site framework that has achieved great success. In 2016, Jacob received the North Star Award at UNG in recognition of his work on this program. In 2019, Jacob placed in the top percentage out of 13,800 competitors of the SANS Institute, am I saying that right? Cyber Fast Track program, and received one of 200 community scholarships that were awarded. In the same year, he also placed 26th out of 4,149 competitors in the National Cyber League Fall 2019 individual competition. What's especially remarkable is that Jacob completed all 7 tasks at the NSA Codebreaker Challenge for 2019, becoming only the 3rd person worldwide to do so. That same year, the team from UNG was the overall winner of the 110-day rigorous cybersecurity competition, beating 531 other schools, which was an effort led by Jacob. Jacob's impact on the University of North Georgia is evident. One of the individuals who nominated him said, "Jacob Elliott is one of the finest contributors to the legacy of the University of North Georgia in both his time as a student and as an alumnus. I've never met a UNG graduate that has returned with so much knowledge, experience, and excitement to share it all with future generations of alumni to the same extent that Jacob has." Another individual said of Jacob that he is a natural leader, patient coach and mentor, and has helped make UNG a player in the cyber operations. Something that makes Jacob such a special recipient of this award is that he is not just a UNG graduate that has accomplished amazing things. Many of the amazing things he has accomplished have been for this institution. So without further ado, it is my honor to present Jacob Elliott with the University of North Georgia's 2021 Distinguished Young Alumni Award. Congratulations, Jacob.
Thank you, Jordan. Next up, we have the Distinguished Professor Award. The award committee reviews nominations from all campuses. Criteria for the award include teaching strengths, responsiveness to students' needs, research and publications, service to the University of North Georgia, service to the community in the region, and service to the profession. This year, we have 2 recipients. When the awards committee reviews these applications or these nominations, we pick one winner from South, which includes Oconee and Gainesville campuses, and one winner from North, which includes Blue Ridge, Forsyth, or Cumming, and Dahlonega. I got that right, didn't I? Okay, all right, I can count to 5. So presenting this year's winners are Dean Sherry Hardy and Dean Mary Gowan. Ms. Hardy, if you'd please, or Dr. Hardy, if you'd please come up.
Good evening. I'm very privileged to be here tonight to recognize one of our College of Education faculty, Dr. Catherine Rose Adams, as one of the recipients of this year's Alumni Association Distinguished Professor Award. UNG was lucky enough to recruit Dr. Adams in 2018 when she came to teach in our fledgling educational doctoral program. This brand new program had a lot of potential, but it also had the potential to fail if not under really strong leadership. When Dr. Adams began working with the program, she brought her expertise, her organization, and much needed rigor. Then in 2019, we convinced her to coordinate the program. She said yes. And this is the point at which the educational doctorate really took off. This is also the point she worked with our faculty and staff to make this a very strong program, of which I personally am very proud. And a lot of that is due to her investment in our students. As one of Dr. Adams' students stated, her commitment to her students and the amount of time she spent to develop each of us as individuals is unlike any professor I have ever experienced. Having the opportunity to study, research, and work for Dr. Adams has been a powerful learning combination. Another one of her students said, she always makes herself available to her students and facilitates an atmosphere of trust that encourages honest dialogue between herself and her students about coursework and the learning experience. She is incredibly supportive and reliable. And it's here I should note that our doctoral program is fully online, and I think there's a misunderstanding about online programs that they somehow involve less time on behalf of faculty and less rigor for the students, but Dr. Adams has really turned this stereotype on its head. One of her students wrote, "I was leery of what a distance education would provide when I first began the program, but Dr. Adams has an innate ability to engender critical thinking, facilitate collaborative learning, and impart knowledge all from a distance." And I couldn't agree more. Although online, our EDD students feel like a family. They know one another, they support one another, and they see this modeled for them through Dr. Adams. She cares about each and every one of her students, and they recognize and respect this. I want to share one quick story from a student with you, one of the students who nominated her, because I think it really encapsulates who Dr. Adams is as a faculty member, a supporter of students, and an all-around just wonderful human being. This is the story from one of her nominees. Quote, "An example of Dr. Adams' commitment to her students is very personal to me. My wife and I committed to paying for this program out of pocket and avoiding any debt at all costs. We were able to do this during the first year, but by year 2, our accounts were going lower than what we had hoped. We were 2 months away from welcoming our fourth child into the world and started looking at other scholarships and opportunities to pay for this program. Without much hope, I contacted Dr. Adams in June to see if she knew of any opportunities. I know Dr. Adams is extremely busy with all that she does. Dr. Adams was delighted I asked and told me she had some ideas and she would get back with me soon. Not knowing her for very long at this point, I thought she would have forgotten all about our conversation. Much to my delight, I received a call from Dr. Adams not long after, who had been working tirelessly to coordinate a graduate assistant for me. I was shocked. I was just hoping for a scholarship opportunity and would have been excited for a few $100s, let alone the opportunity to have my tuition waived and earn a little extra money. This graduate assistant position has been an immense blessing for my family, but not only that, I have learned so much through working with Dr. Adams and seeing how a true leader in higher education effectively works. I will never forget the kindness, commitment to the student, myself, and follow through that Dr. Adams displayed for me that summer. Higher education in general needs more faculty like Dr. Adams who are champions of student success, end quote. I don't think I could say it any better than this student did. And so with that, I want to congratulate Dr. Adams on a well-deserved honor as the Alumni Association's Distinguished Professor of the Year.
Presenting the next recipient is Dean Mary Gowan.
After too many years to count in higher ed, I have come to one important conclusion, and that is the best faculty are the faculty who value learning in their students, but also never stop learning themselves. And so it is my honor to be able to recognize Bryson Payne. Bryson, if you'll go ahead and come on up. As recognize him as a distinguished professor by the Alumni Association. There's a lot of stories I could tell about Bryson, but I want to start by talking about what I mean by him being a learner. They're all good stories, by the way. And let me just give you some of his credentials that signify the learning. He has a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, magna cum laude, from North Georgia College and State University, Master of Education in Mathematics from North Georgia College and State University, a PhD in Computer Science from Georgia State University, the University System of Georgia Executive Leadership Institute completion, and Cybersecurity Leadership Certificate. I'm not done yet. He also has professional certifications, FAA Small UAS Certificate, that's a drone certificate, SANS GIAC Response in Industrial Defense, called GRID certification, a SANS GIAC Reverse Engineering Malware, called GRIM, love these names, SANS GIAC Certified Penetration Tester, GPEN, and Certified Information System Security Professional, CISP, CISSP. This one he still has to explain to me, how you can be a certified ethical hacker, CEH, and the CompTIA Security Plus certified certification. Those probably aren't all, but they're the ones I have on my list right here. So as you can see, he's always learning because he knows the importance of continuing to learn to bring those things into the classroom. Bryson has a long history at the University of North Georgia. I told you he started as a student here. He started as an adjunct and instructor right out of pretty much almost undergraduate school when he was getting his master's in mathematics. He left for a couple of years. I'm not sure what happened there, but he came right back. So he was only gone from 2003 to 2005. He has had various roles at the university, from being the chief information officer during the consolidation, no small task that, and department head of computer science, actually the first department head for the Department of Computer Science and Information Systems. Having worked with computer science faculty really for the first time, that was no small feat either, so congratulations. They're a wonderful crew. They just think differently than I do. But we're working on it. And then he has been the director of the Center for Cyber Operations Education for, the last 5 years, the founding director of that. And I want to talk about that for just a minute because it's a very important program in the university. And Bryson, because of his love for students and his love for student learning, has never stopped finding ways to advocate for the students, advocate for the program, make sure they have the latest tools and technology, make sure they have funds to get the certifications that they need, while also providing a rich experience for the students in the classroom. Tonight, because we were talking with General Fogarty just this afternoon about other opportunities around cyber education for the whole UNG campus. We got some great ideas to work on. But he has led the Cyberhawks, with some help from Jacob, over the last couple of years to be the #1 team in the nation. Over 500 schools competed last year and over 400 this year. And I just learned tonight that he had a little bit of a tough time at home because his father-in-law went to Georgia Tech. So I'm sure there were some happy moments there, but persevered, and we're very proud. The students, our team, for those of you who don't know, won by a ratio of 4-1 over Georgia Tech, the next highest scoring team in the competition. So. But as Sherry pointed out, it's the students and what they say that often tells the story. And so I just want to share just a few vignettes from some of the nominations for Bryson. From one of the students, he's an expert, has unparalleled knowledge about a topic. Since an expert has unparalleled knowledge about a topic, but it takes a professor to distill that into understandable content. Dr. Payne does this in spades, driven by his love for teaching and cybersecurity. With this passion, he lights our interests by providing heavy cybersecurity information through an engaging way. He's both entertaining and educating, and that's no small thing either, exhibiting qualities that I hope to achieve, says the student. And from another student, Bryson Payne is very experienced with the material that he teaches and is very hands-on with how he teaches. His courses are very hands-on learning, with students being given an environment to learn through experience rather than just reading from a textbook. He's always willing to answer questions that students may have and is willing to work one-on-one with students to assist with any issues they have. He's always available to students through email or phone, has an open door whenever he's in the office. During my time at UNG, he was a good advisor for me and helped me on the right path with my major. As mentioned, he works closely with students to help with problems they're having with the coursework or with their major. And just a couple more that I want to share. Dr. Bryson Payne was a professor of mine during my CIS undergraduate program at UNG. I've kept in touch with him as he's proactively kept me engaged with UNG and his rapidly growing cyber education programs. Dr. Payne embodies the term subject matter expert. He explains extremely complicated subjects in easy-to-grasp terms and makes learning a pleasurable experience. Bryson has a unique ability to let talented students excel, going above and beyond course material to learn real-world, hands-on skills, while also nurturing students who struggle with the new concepts. He does this by encouraging students to learn from each other by sharing new ideas or techniques. And I'll say at this point that also, if you're not aware, and there's some information about Bryson in your program, he's also been published in 6 languages for some of the work he's done, some of the books he's written, and he's one of the highest ranked faculty members on the online program Udemy. So he's spreading his word far beyond and using his expertise as a professor far beyond the University of North Georgia. And last, I'll end with a comment from a student about his service to the profession. Dr. Payne literally cultivates the next generation of cybersecurity professionals. How else could one better learn the profession? Dr. Payne maintains his skill set by proactively obtaining industry-required certifications to ensure the skills and tactics taught to our students are relevant, applicable, and operational. So I can't think of anyone who deserves being recognized more than Bryson does tonight for the work he's done in leading our cyber program, but also just in being in the classroom with the students and making it real for them. They're going out and doing very well. The cybersecurity degree program at undergraduate is 3 years old now, and we have no doubt that these students are going to excel in whatever they choose to do. So congratulations, Bryson.
Congratulations. The next award is the Ralph Colley Spirit Award. This award is given to an alumni who has experienced adverse circumstances in his or her life and has risen above those circumstances to live an exemplary life. The award is named for Ralph Colley from the class of 1966. Ralph lost 3 limbs to a landmine in Vietnam. He also passed away in the last year. He was the award's first recipient. Presenting this year's award is Associate Vice President for Military Programs, Keith Antonia.
Volunteering to serve our nation in uniform and under arms is a tremendously honorable thing to do. It's a noble thing to do. Serving our nation's ground forces is a really tough job. At the very tip of the spear of our ground forces is the infantry. And the mission of the infantry is to close with and destroy the enemy by means of close combat, direct fire battle in the siege and hold terrain. Among America's infantry forces is the United States Army's storied 82nd Airborne Division, which is our rapid deployment force. The paratroopers that belong to the 82nd are among the toughest soldiers in the Army and in the world. Hailing from Winder, Georgia, Samuel Wally was one such tough volunteer and paratrooper. Samuel proved his mettle in combat in the infantry as a paratrooper at the tip of the spear against enemy forces in Afghanistan, and continued to do so until he was severely wounded. Then he fought another valiant fight, a long fight, a 2-year fight with almost 100 surgeries to recover from his wounds. After that, he enrolled in the University of North Georgia and earned a bachelor's degree a year ago in political science. Tonight, his wife, Hannah, is with him, who's been with him also for several years, his father and a very good friend, Brent. So now I have the distinct honor of presenting Samuel Wally with the Ralph Colley Spirit of North Georgia Award, again, given to an alumni who has experienced adverse circumstances in his or her life and has risen above those circumstances to live an exemplary life. Ralph Colley, who is a 1966 graduate of the university, for whom the award is named, lost 3 limbs to a landmine in Vietnam and is the award's first recipient. So if we could congratulate Samuel Wally on this notable distinction.
Our next award is the Distinguished Alumnus Award. Candidates for the Distinguished Alumnus Award have an extraordinary record of service and support to the University of North Georgia. We have 2 recipients this year, and presenting the first recipient is Assistant Commandant, Retired Major Richard Nykirk.
Hope I can see up here. Everybody's eyes getting worse as mine as you get older. I want to thank Wendy and the Alumni Association for inviting me here tonight. And I see a lot of familiar faces, and a lot of you know who I'm going to talk about here for a minute. I might get a little emotional because this person is a true dear friend of mine. and I think a lot of you will agree with me. I'm talking about Major General Joe Girard. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the other winners tonight, especially Cadet Morgan Gaynor and Derek Whitmore, who are they're probably two of the finest cadets that will come out of this institution, I'm telling you. I think we need to give them another round of applause. Best of luck to both of you. They're both going to graduate and commission next month, and they're off to do great, wonderful things for our country. Dr. Payne, well deserved. Huh? Wes, you're coming up next, I think. Wes is the epitome of the North Georgia spirit, and General Girard wanted me to tell you congratulations, okay? Bill Palazzi, I hadn't seen you in many, many years. Bill was a former student of mine back in the 80s when Joe and Jimmy and Wayne Bear and some others here tonight were in the Corps. And I always knew Bill would do well. His hair is still like it was when he was a cadet. He wore it as a flat top, and he always set high standards, and I'm proud of what you did there, Bill, with the state police up there. I want to thank Wendy for asking me to do this. I guess she ran out of people to ask. And I'm just going to talk about a guy called Joe, okay? And I know Joe and Susan would love to be here tonight and look out over this beautiful campus up here. But I think Germany's 5 or 6 hours ahead, depending on daylight savings time. And Joe's probably in bed because he put in a long, hard day at work, or he was on the golf course today. I'm not sure. But they'd love to be here. Joe had a lot of other commitments going on over in Europe right now. If you look in your program, you'll see Joe's biography. I'll highlight a couple of things in there, but I want to talk to you about my relationship with him and his family a little bit. I first got to know Joe back in the fall of 1987 when the Army assigned me here as a teacher in the ROTC department on active duty. I taught the seniors, and they're called MS4 cadets, and Joe was in that class, along with his twin brother Jamie, that most of you know too. Right away, they tried to fool me by playing games like, no, I'm Joe, no, I'm Jamie. And that didn't work, and I could tell them apart, and I can still tell them apart today. But what was cool about both of them, they had a very busy life. Not only were they in the Corps Cadets, they were in the National Guard, as some of our cadets are too, but they were also NCAA or NAIA back in those days, varsity basketball players. So they had extremely busy lives. But what they did, they always set a superb example of what a North Georgia cadet and student should be and act like, always. Fine young men. But throughout his senior year, we talked about our backgrounds, what brought me here. We talked about our families, the Army. And during the senior year, it's important too because they got to pick their branch of assignment. And me, I was a field artillery officer, and of course I wanted Joe and Jamie and every other cadet to go field artillery. But of course, you know, that's not going to happen. But Joe did select field artillery, and Jamie, he always wanted to go infantry. Jamie went to one school, Joe had to go to the other school. Jamie went to one school, Joe had to go to the other school. So they were always competitive young men. And Jamie always bragged about being the older brother. And I think he's maybe 2 minutes older than Joe, but I could be wrong. But just think about that. Two brothers from here that currently are the rank of Major General. That's pretty cool. It really is. It doesn't happen every day. It does happen, but not every day. I think we need to give them both a round of applause for those achievements, not just Joe. And you know, Joe's over in Germany as the Deputy Commanding General for the Army National Guard in Europe, and Jamie's currently the Division Commander for the 25th Infantry Division over in Hawaii. And of course, a little bit about their family. Many of you may remember his dad, Tom. Tom also commissioned out of here as an armor officer. And following those footsteps, I know Joe had a tough decision to make. But one little neat fact we found out about each other is I was born in a military hospital in Nuremberg, Germany. Joe and Jamie were born in the same hospital, but we were just a little bit, a couple of years apart. But one day we were talking about that, and I said, I think I've got a picture of that hospital that I'll give you a copy of it. So I went home and I found it and brought it back, and that was pretty neat to share that with them. But I tell you, I've been in touch with Joe for the past 34 years, since the first day I met him. And we've crossed many, many times, and I left here and went on to other assignments before I retired. And one other thing I'll share with you, Joe's first assignment, I think, was up in a nuclear warhead detachment up in northern Germany in Germany. And when he came back from that assignment, he went to the Captain's Advanced Course, which they now call the Captain's Career Course. And he was going to school at Fort Sill, where I was stationed at the time. And he brought a package to Fort Sill, and that was a young man called Ben Gerard. And Ben spent a little time at our house because my daughter would babysit Ben when Joe and Susan wanted to go out for a date. And guess what? Ben now works for North Georgia. And I tell you, Joe's getting old. He's getting old. But we crossed again in 1997 when I retired, and Joe was at the military department on cadre there. And I remember one day he called me and he goes, "Hey, I hear your name's being tossed around to become the assistant commandant." And I said, "Well, that's interesting. So next step, I'm here, so you can blame Joe and you can blame Gerald Lord for that." Joe left, but he came back again to North Georgia after he made a tough career decision because his dad was in poor health. And so he chose family over career and came here, and he was able to spend some quality time with his dad before his dad passed away. That's a little bit about Joe's character. He always places other people, especially his family, above his personal desires. Joe has 3 boys, Ben, Will, and Joe, and I remember them running around the military science department down there, just little bitty small dudes down there, always roughhousing. And Joe couldn't keep them straight. He failed that mission. I remember Joe wasn't happy when his little brother, Kevin, decided to break the family tradition and not come to North Georgia, but instead he went to the Citadel. Some of you may not know that. His father, Tom, mother, Nancy, sister, Amy, brother, Jamie, son, Ben, all attended North Georgia. Will and Joseph, they broke the tradition and went somewhere else. But then you got another person in his family called Susan. Susan also went to school here. So the family's put a lot of equity into this institution. And Kevin demonstrated the same excellence as the Gerard family does, because when he went to the Citadel his senior year, he was their regimental commander down there, which is a great achievement. And we can give Kevin a go at this station now because he did come back and earn his master's degree at North Georgia. But not only part was I in Joe's life about going on active duty, I was also in his life when he decided to end his active duty service when he retired here at North Georgia, and he asked me to be his MC at his retirement ceremony, which I was proud to do. Very proud. Look at his biography, and you'll look at all the things that he's done for the great state of Georgia. Those actions reflect on this university quite often. He's been a superb ambassador for this institution worldwide, and he continues to serve his country in uniform, and Joe knows he's known everywhere as a top-notch professional in the United States Army. And I can think of no other person who's more deserving of this distinguished alumni recognition than Joe Gerard. I hope everyone here tonight will agree that there are not many people in the world that say they don't like Joe Gerard. That's true. He's a person of uncompromising integrity, morals, dedication to everything he does. He does it with superb excellence, and he and his family are just wonderful human beings. He loves North Georgia, and I know he's extremely honored that he's being recognized here tonight, and he thanks the Alumni Association, and I'm proud to call him my friend, and I humbly accept his award on his behalf. Thank you very much.
Hello from Wiesbaden, Germany. First of all, I'd like to say thank you very much to the Alumni Association. I am very humbled and honored to be selected as one of the Distinguished Alumnus awardees this year. So I think there's a lot more people that probably deserve this than I do, but I do appreciate it very much, and mainly because of how much the University of North Georgia means to me. To me, I'm especially proud, and I think it's really, really cool that I'm one of 2 awardees this year, and it means a whole lot to me that Wes Thomas is also being recognized. Wes is North Georgia for a lot of us, and I was there for several iterations when I came back as an instructor, and so I saw what Wes did while I was there. When I came back in 97 to 2000, I saw what Wes did, and he just meant so much to the university and more specifically to all the students that passed through while he was there. And so I just would like to congratulate Wes, and it really means something special to me that he and I are the 2 that are recognized for this award. I also got to give a shout out to my classmate, Bill Palazzi, for the Distinguished Alumni, or the Alumni Hall of Fame Award. For y'all that don't know, I didn't see Bill from the time we graduated until I went to the 1-week course up at Harvard that Bill also attended, and I think that was about 2016, sometime in there. So we had not seen each other for almost 25 years, or a little over 25 years, and until that day. And so had a great time catching up that week, and but just really proud that he is being honored tonight as well. And then I will say that y'all are lucky that I'm not there, because I'd probably go down the list of the board of directors and start telling stories about all those that are made up of, or do make up the board of directors, that were in school at the same time I was, because I'm not sure, it really surprises me that the university allows a lot of y'all to come back on campus to start with. And you can start with the president, vice president, because I've seen some things. Lee Brown, she probably wore out 4 sets of tires cruising around the drill field while I was at North Georgia. And Rob Reed, again, some stories. And but I am glad to see that General Terry might be there tonight. I'm not sure if he is there or not, but I guess they put him on the committee just to keep the rest of those folks in line. But anyway, I am very sorry that I'm not there tonight. It would be great to catch up with a lot of you, and just thank you one more time. And I guess I have to finish with a thank you to Major Nykirk. He commissioned me when I graduated, and I have always been very close with him. He's been a true friend and mentor for many years, and I just appreciate him accepting this award for me tonight. So again, thanks to everybody. I hate I can't be there, but thank you all for what you do for the university.
Congratulations to Joe Girard, and I wish he could be here tonight, because I'd probably tell a story about him as well, but I was a little bit younger than him, but his sister Amy was in my class, and a fraternity brother of mine started dating Amy. He later married Amy, and their son is now also, Patrick Coffey, attends North Georgia, and Jason got invited to go to Christmas at the Girard's house, and it just so happened that they were all going to be coming, Joe and Jamie and Kevin, and we were like, how's that going to go? Jason, you all right? You going to be okay with all them? He's like, yeah, I think I'll be all right. I think I'll be all right. So he got back, and we were like, well, how'd it go? How'd it go? He said, well, I'm just glad I'm on the rifle team, and I can shoot better than they can. The next recipient of the Distinguished Alumnus Award will be co-presented by myself and retired Vice President of Student Affairs, Coach Dean Mike Himes. Coach, if you come on up.
Thank you, Wendy, for giving me the opportunity to say a few words about my good friend, Wes Thomas. Nearly 50 years ago, I was blessed with the opportunity to serve at one of the finest institutions in the Southeast, with the finest faculty, the finest staff, and the finest students anywhere. I'm talking about North Georgia College. Shortly after my arrival, I was recruited to teach a junior high school Sunday school class. I was told I was going to have an assistant teacher, a young high school student from Camp Glisson. His father was the minister out there. His name was Wesley Thomas. From that initial experience, a professional relationship and friendship was formed that lasted nearly 5 decades. To our good fortune, Wes decided to attend North Georgia College following high school and immediately became deeply involved in student organizations and activities. His commitment to the college was second to none. He served on the Student Activities Board, Student Government Association, orientation staff, the newspaper staff, the yearbook staff, the Wesley Foundation, as the night manager to the Student Center, and as a student representative on many faculty committees. When you look at Wes's activities, you notice one thing in common: service. Wes served. He quickly won the respect of all faculty, administrators, and students with whom he worked. During his service as president of the Student Activities Board, Wes developed outstanding skills in budgeting, organization, event planning, and interpersonal relations. Wes was a serious steward of the students' money, and he could always be counted on to ask the tough questions when it came to budgeting funds for student organizations and activities. As he finished his degree at North Georgia College, Wes made a decision to pursue a career in student affairs. After graduating from Northwestern State University in Louisiana, where he established a very positive reputation, Wes returned to North Georgia and served his 41 years in student affairs, to include assistant director of the student activities in the Student Center, director of student activities, and associate dean for student involvement. These 41 years plus 4 years of dedicated service to North Georgia as a student comes up to 45 years of service. It's got to be a record. And Mac, you may want to recalculate his retirement package, because Wes has got more than the 41 years you're paying him for. Wes is not finished yet. Every morning he's out on the campus doing his morning walk, taking pictures of the cadets, of the other students, of the beautiful scenery, and sharing these photos on Facebook with a large number of North Georgia followers. The director of Student Center, Wes, was committed to providing a state-of-the-art facility and an environment where students could meet, learn, develop real-life skills, and just relax. These real-life skills may have been shooting pool, but they developed skills. Wes was a behind-the-scenes leader and participated in numerous student leadership training events, even when it meant backpacking through the mountains, ropes courses, whitewater rafting, and at times sleeping on the ground. He attended countless late night and weekend meetings and supervised the setup and cleanup of literally hundreds of campus events. During Wes's career, he served many roles. When I think of Wes Thomas, certain traits come to mind. The first is mentor, then coach, friend, example, role model, leader, behind the scenes, a teammate, responsibility, love for students, an infectious laugh, responsibility, unparalleled loyalty, dedication, and random acts of kindness. Wes was always the first to arrive at a campus function and the last to leave, always volunteering to help. Wes served under 7 presidents and saw the enrollment student enrollment increased from 1,400 students to over 7,000, and an activity budget that grew from less than $2,000 to more than $1 million. During his career, Wes mentored hundreds of students, and he made a lasting influence on their lives. Wayne, I'm going to say this one for you. Several years ago, there was a country singer named Gary Morris who sang a song later made popular by Bette Midler called Wind Beneath My Wings. There are many young leaders in our state and nation today who spread their leadership wings under the influence and example of Wes Thomas. When I walk down the hallway in the foundation area where their offices are, and the plaques of previous recipients are displayed along the wall, I can't help but be impressed by the caliber of students who've gone forth and served their communities, their country, their business, their state, and their university. Wes Thomas chose to remain at his alma mater, North Georgia, and to commit his full energies, his talent, and life to this institution and its students. I can think of no person whose influence has touched as many lives as Wes Thomas. North Georgia has been Wes's family and a major part of his life. He's certainly earned his place on this prestigious wall. Will Rogers once said, "I never met a man I didn't like." Well, I never met a person who didn't like Wes Thomas. Congratulations, my friend. We're proud of you. A well-deserved award, Wes.
As a student, I got to experience firsthand Wes's love and support and encouragement and all the things that Dean Himes just talked about. I can tell you many times the first light on campus to turn on in an office was Wes Thomas's, and the last light to turn off during the day was Wes Thomas's. He was the go-to guy. He did anything that was asked about him or asked of him, and he was always there to help. I experienced that. Many others experienced that. And a really good friend of mine asked to share this tonight. Matt Millar asked if I would share something that he wrote about Wes. And for those of y'all that know Matt Millar, it's actually pretty good, believe it or not. It surprised me when I read it. I got a little emotional. But Wes's contribution to the student life at UNG are unmatched. I don't know that anyone will ever be able to dedicate as much of their time and their life to the university as Wes has. So what Matt wrote, and this was back in probably 1997. He didn't write this in 1997, but this occurred in 97. He said, "The one thing I'll never forget and will always be forever grateful for is that Wes Thomas's perseverance got me into the Army. I'd been denied active duty due to a previous minor surgery and was told by Cadet Command there was not an option for a medical waiver. After telling Wes that I needed to consider something other than military after college, Wes researched the military regulations and found some gray area on medical waivers. Basically, Wes learned that general officers can waive pretty much anything, and North Georgia had a few alumni serving as general officers. Wes felt confident that a waiver was a possibility and knew that going from the top down in this case might be more effective. Wes also knew that a personally crafted letter might influence the right North Georgia alumni decision maker. So I sat down in the extra chair in his office my senior year, and with Wes's guidance on the most convincing words and structure, we wrote a letter to then Major General Glisson, 1966 graduate, for a waiver consideration. Within a month of writing that letter, I received the active duty waiver that was once not possible. I don't think, and this is Matt saying, Matt says, I don't think my military service and so many of my life events following would have happened if not for Wes and his perseverance. That single letter taught me the value of the power of the written word and how friends like Wes give way more than their time to their careers. We can measure Wes's impact to UNG by 41 years on the calendar, but for students like me, I can measure his impact by looking at my life and reflecting on everything he did to make my time at North Georgia the most memorable and impactful time of my life. So, Wes Thomas.
I like this drum presentation. I'm going to be very quick. I know we've all been sitting a long time, but I just want to say a couple of thank yous. One to the Alumni Association for this recognition. When Wendy called, I kept thinking, I think she got the wrong number. I was very surprised and very appreciative. I want to thank Dean Himes for his kind words and his leadership and mentorship for so many years. I think everything I know and have done has been because of the example that he set. So a special thanks. I'd like to thank my sisters and their families for being here. Steve Brown, if you don't know Steve, he's a longtime friend, a former colleague, and former student. So I do want to, I'm not much of a talker, but I would like for you to participate because you've been sitting there for a long time. North Georgia is a leadership place. That's what we're all about. And I just would like, and let me ask also, include non-North Georgia folks. You know, if you went to college and you fall into these categories, I just want to see an example. If you were on student government as an undergraduate, would you please stand? Got a number? If you are an SG officer, please remain standing. If you're an officer. Excellent. If you were on the College Union Board, Student Activities Board, Nighthawks Entertainment, we changed names several times, or any kind of campus activities board as an undergraduate, would you please stand? And if you were an officer of that group, would you please remain standing? Outstanding, thank you. If you were in a fraternity or a sorority as an undergraduate, would you please stand? Got a lot of folks there, I know. If you were an officer of your fraternity or sorority, would you please remain standing? Got a lot of hands over this corner over here. If you were in the Corps of Cadets at North Georgia, would you please stand? If you were a commander of any position, would you please remain standing? Thank you. If you were a resident assistant here at North Georgia or anywhere else, would you please stand? Wow, I'm surprised. Excellent. Thank you so much. You be seated. If you were a student athlete or a cheerleader, would you please, just stand there, just stay up there. If you were an athlete, please stand. And if you were a captain of your team, would you please remain standing? Thank you. If you participated in intramural sports as an undergraduate, would you please stand? Thank you. If you were a captain of your team or a coach, remain standing. We may have some folks in that. Excellent. We have some folks in that category as well. And to include everyone else, if you were an officer of any club or organization at your undergraduate, would you please stand? Excellent. Thank you. As you can see, North Georgia is a leadership institution. And I know some of you didn't attend North Georgia. I'm sorry, you know. Everyone can't come here. But it really is an example. That's what's made my 41 years so rewarding is the students. I can see Kathy back there and Robin and Steve, just so many folks that were involved in making the campus and working so hard. And it was my privilege just to facilitate that process. So thank you for this recognition. Thank you to the Alumni Association. And I'm certainly, again, encourage leadership. I think several of the students had to leave already that were recognized earlier. Very, very impressive. So the tradition continues. So thank you so very much.
Our last award of the evening is the Alumni Hall of Fame Award, which recognizes an alumni who have distinguished themselves through outstanding professional careers and/or outstanding contributions to community service. This year's recipient is Colonel William Bill Pelosi, North Georgia College class of '88. He was appointed Secretary of the Maryland Department of State Police and Superintendent of the Maryland State Police by Governor Larry Hogan in February 2015. In this role, he was responsible for the operations of the Maryland State Police, the Office of the State Fire Marshal, and the Maryland Vehicle Theft Prevention Council. After graduation from college and active duty service in the United States Army, Bill joined the state police in July 1989. Upon his appointment as superintendent, he served every rank in the Maryland State Police. He is the 19th superintendent of the Maryland State Police. While serving in the Maryland State Police, he continued his military service in the U.S. Army Reserves as an officer in the 11th Special Forces Group, Airborne and Individual Ready Reserves. He was honorably discharged with the rank of captain in 2003. Having retired in March of 2020 as the superintendent, he now serves as the Vice President and Chief Security Officer for MedStar Health, one of the largest integrated health systems serving Maryland and the Washington, D.C. region. Bill holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice from the North Georgia College. He has a Master of Science degree in Management and Leadership from the Johns Hopkins University and is a graduate of the Police Executive Leadership Program at Hopkins. Additionally, he is a graduate of the FBI National Executive Institute and the General and Flag Officer Homeland Security Executive Seminar at Harvard University, the John F. Kennedy School of Government. Bill continues to serve as a guest lecturer on law enforcement, leadership, and crisis management at Harvard University, John F. Kennedy School of Government. Bill is married to Colleen, and they have 3 daughters, Anna, Megan, and Lauren. Please make welcome Bill Pelosi.
Thank you very much. Almost impressive. Obviously being superintendent, I worked directly for the governor, so I had the opportunity to give many speeches in my career. And I was always told there's 3 people you don't want to follow. A hero, Mr. Wally, a legend, Dean Himes, back there as well, and a preacher. So I appreciate you not having a preacher here tonight that I have to follow. Because you're usually blown out of the water by them. First, let me thank the Alumni Association, for the selection of this award. I truly was blown away when Wendy called. She initially got my wife, and my wife said, "Somebody named Wendy's calling. Would you mind explaining that?" I said, "Wendy? Wendy who? Wendy Hewley." I was like, "From North Georgia?" So it was, and it was a great call. I am truly honored and humbled to be the recipient of this award. I congratulate the other award recipients here tonight. It's amazing to hear, those that are coming up in the world, coming into their own soon. It's amazing to hear the professors that continue to touch so many lives. Teachers touch the future every day. I'm the proud father of an 8th grade English teacher, and they do touch the future every day, and it makes the world better. I do want to thank my parents, the reason I came to North Georgia, for all the support and guidance. Dr. Downing, they shocked me with him being here today. You were actually already in my speech, sir. He was my academic advisor and helped guide me through my coursework, including an internship in 1987 with the Maryland State Police. Wound up going to work there a few years later. So he instilled in me, community service, passion for law enforcement, passion for making a difference, and believing that you have the ability to make a difference in this world. You know, the night I was confirmed by the Maryland State Senate, I sent him an email, you know, thanking him for his influence, and eternally grateful for that, sir. My wife, you know, I get soft. I have a wife and 3 daughters. So, you know, I always say it made me a softer but a better man. So bear with me, I get through them. My wife of 25 years, Colleen. You know, my 3 beautiful daughters, Anna, Megan, and Lauren. You know, it is not easy having a husband or father who was a 32-year career law enforcement officer, although it did help out on dates when they came to the house. But I would say, like, my wife and I would always say to them, why are you home? It's Friday night, Saturday night. It's like, Dad, you're the superintendent of state police. Nobody invites us to parties. So it did help out. And I have 3 great daughters, you know, in college. You know, for years, even tonight, many people have asked me, like, how did a kid from Maryland wind up at North Georgia? So I will explain that quickly. My father was an attorney, and he was the head of law enforcement in the U.S. Department of Commerce. And they trained down in Fleetsy, Georgia, Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Glencoe. So he's down there on one trip visiting his agents, and he's chatting with, I believe dinner with, the director of the training center. The director of the center mentions that, hey, 2 of my sons went to North Georgia. At this point, I'm a 3 months from graduation senior in high school. And he says, yeah, you should have your son look at it. So I can vividly remember sitting in my parents' bedroom. They have like a large bedroom and 2 seats off to the side. My dad would call home every night to check on my mom and say, hey, is Bill there? Yep, he's right here. Hands me the phone. And he says, I want you to come down and look at this school called North Georgia. What? He goes, yeah, it's a military college. I remember saying, what? A military college? And I'm like, where? In Georgia? Nah, I don't think so, Dad. You're crazy. And to be honest, at this point in my life, you know, I'm 18 years old. You know, my plan was to go to Penn State University, play lacrosse, have fun, and get an education. Pretty much in that order, too. So fortunately, my parents had a better plan. So my dad returns home. A few weeks later, you know, we wind up driving down to North Georgia. I mean, as you drive over the mountains, even though when I did today, it's much different than when I came here in 1985. But it was just, you see it, you meet some of the people here. I was like, you know, what the heck? I'll give it a try. So those of you who are here today that went here, you know this is a special place. You know, this place helped me become a leader. It helped me progress into a very successful career in law enforcement. You know, the Corps of Cadets, as you saw the 2 cadets here today, you know, you learn about leadership, you learn about discipline, teamwork, a pursuit of excellence. The academics, Dr. Downing and others, you know, solid, well-rounded education, you know, that helped me build on and begin my career in law enforcement and in the military. You know, North Georgia provided many great memories for me. You know, incredible friendships, my brotherhood in Sigma Chi. You know, most of you my age or a little bit younger know that my brother also attended North Georgia, graduated in 1990. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here tonight, but shout out to Bob. You know, and it's no accident that so many successful people, you know, get their start at North Georgia. And this school provides so many leaders to the world, not just in the military. Even though I am very proud that 5 generals came from my class, 4 of them still serving, including the Girard brothers. You know, incredible group of people that I had the honor to be a part of. You know, as for my law enforcement career, you know, it's impossible to describe, you know, the honor to serve as a secretary and superintendent of the state police for over 5 years. Very challenging time for law enforcement. But as I began my career, I never imagined that I would become the 19th superintendent, you know, and only the 3rd superintendent or trooper to start at the bottom and make it to the top in a 100-year history of the Maryland State Police, something I'm extremely proud of. Let me close by saying this. I have been abundantly blessed in my life. You know, I've had an outstanding career. North Georgia was a huge part of that success, and I will forever be grateful. I thank you for this special recognition. It's truly an honor, and I'll close with this. My wife and I, you know, I hadn't been here in 21 years, so a little bit's changed in 21 years. We come down earlier today, you know, we go out onto the square. That's still the same, thank God. None of the stores are anymore, but the square is still the same. And we're in the general store standing there. And while we're standing there, my middle daughter calls us, who actually is East Carolina senior. She graduates in 3 weeks, big lacrosse player. She's up at Temple University playing lacrosse. So she calls us and she's crying. And my wife goes, "What's the matter?" So right away I'm thinking, oh my God, like she tore an ACL, something happened right before she gets ready to get in the game. And she says, "You're not going to believe this, I got in." So she got into vet school, which, if you know anything about veterinary school, I did not know, probably one of the toughest things to get into. So very proud of her for that. But here's the cool part. I haven't been in Georgia in 21 years. My daughter got into University of Georgia School of Veterinary Medicine. So I will be in Georgia a lot more for the next 4 years. So thank you again for this incredible honor. God bless you all.
All right. First thing I want to do is, again, I want to congratulate all the award winners tonight. I think they need one last round of applause. Second, I want to thank every one of you that attended tonight. Your participation is invaluable. And lastly, I want to thank the Awards and Scholarship Committee and the entire Alumni Association Board for the work that you do. For all of you that are here, we're here to advocate for you. For the last year, with COVID and every challenge that we've had, every newsletter, every article that I delayed till the very last minute to write, I always said it's going to get better. And tonight is another example of the step towards normalcy. This is an absolutely beautiful event, and Wendy, Lisa, you guys did a great job tonight. Thank you for this. And last thing that I ask of everyone, and I always mention this, please remember, as alumni, it's not our responsibility to try to recreate the exact experience that we had when we were here. It's our responsibility to support this school so that the current students have the best experience while they're here, so when they graduate and leave, they have as many fond memories as we do, and they love this school even more than we were able to. So, more importantly, I'd like to remind everyone, come home and come home often. So thank you very much, guys. Thanks for coming.